Alrighty, we are live, folks. So, hey, I'm doing something kind of fun. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing an experiment on which LLM I think writes the best. Now, I think is very subjective, but we are going to try and build a little process here where we distill what I like about writing into an eval, which is going to be another prompt that gets used against every output and scores how well it does based on my criteria of what good writing looks like for me. So, how we're going to do this, we're first going to make sure we have a prompt that writes cold emails. I think cold emails is a good place to start here. So it's going to be a prompt that writes cold emails. I'm going to read the outputs of this prompt, and I'm going to determine what I like and what I don't like, and work with AI to create an eval prompt that's going to then look at every single output from the LLM and evaluate how well it did based on my criteria. And then we're going to test Grok, Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, which I almost forgot what that was called. And I think that's all of them. I don't know. Those are the main ones. We can test a couple other ones too. Let's jump right in here. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. Alrighty. I'm going to share my screen here. Actually, before I do, I'm using Perplexity Computer. So I want to double check to make sure none of my stuff. Okay. Don't want my API keys revealed to all that exist. Okay. This is my screen. So here's the prompt that I came up with. I had it start right before we got into this. So write a hyper personalized cold email to prospect. The user will provide the prospect. I can give you this prompt too if you want it. Follow these rules strictly and produce an email that gets replies. Remember, the goal here, this is all based on best practices, it looks like, which is what I asked it to do. The goal here is to see which LLM writes the best. Pretty simple goal, but I want it to be a little more measurable than normal versus just me reading it. No buzzwords. Yeah. Okay, fine. Normally I have a prompt that makes AI write just like me. Normally I'd have that baked into this, but I'm not going to here. LinkedIn posts or articles they've written, their company's recent news, funding round, product launches, job postings, or industry's current landscape, any mutual connection, shared experience, or common ground. Build the insight bridge. Yeah, this is an important one, how you bridge what you personalize to the rest of it. So right here, these are some examples. I noticed you posted 8 SDR roles last month, equals observation week. When teams scale outbound that quickly, the biggest bottleneck is usually new rep ramp time. Insight equals strong. So this is really good that I put this in here. This is like, hey, here's what bad looks like. Here's what good looks like. And I like adding those to prompts, especially prompts like this. Draft an email using the hook, signal, insight, value, CTA framework. Okay, hook. Write the subject line 4 to 7 words. That's too much, by the way. I hate. It should be like 2 to 4 words. Sentence case or all lowercase, referencing the signal, the company, the topic. And then here's one, creates curiosity without being clickbait. A question format often outperforms a statement. I don't believe that to be true, so I'm going to delete it. Must sound like an internal email subject line. So this has been my most effective, by the way, for if you want to talk about just subject lines for a moment. If it sounds like an internal email, it does much better in my experience. Okay, step 6, review and tighten. Review the full email against these checks. Is it cut ruthlessly? Love it. Does every sentence earn its place? It's first line reference to the prospect. Example. Okay. I'm not going to put examples here. You would, by the way. So what we would do is we would run all of these tests, figure out which emails look the best, and we'd do an input-output example of that. And actually, in this case, the input would be someone's LinkedIn profile. So we would probably only use output examples here. But here's the, okay, so it's going to provide a research summary, which I don't think we really need. So I'm going to delete this. Actually, do we want this? Let me think real quick. It helps us diagnose why the email sucks if the email does suck. So I'm debating keeping it in, but you know what? No, I'm not going to. Subject line, email body, first name, hook, signal, insight, value proposition, soft CTA, sender first name, word count, X words, why this works. I don't want those either. User input, prospect, LinkedIn URL or name plus company, replace with prospect's LinkedIn profile URL. Oh, interesting. I don't want all this extra stuff. It's a good point, though. It's like, what do we sell and what do they sell? So let's actually keep this being sold. This is what we sell. Like, we should probably unknown signal or context. We're going to delete that one. Specific. What does it say? Yeah. And let's do the product or okay. Let's keep the brief description here. And I'm going to ask. Let me come back to me. If you don't use Perplexity Computer, I highly recommend it. It's a great tool, but I don't want to reveal my API keys. Can you write me a brief description of what the sales thread does? Okay, we're going to use sales thread for this. And my prospect is going to be, let's see. I don't want it to be myself. That's originally what I was going to do. I'm trying to think of who should I use? Use my buddy Luke. He might actually end up watching this too. What's up, Luke? Okay, so user input, I'm going to replace with the paste. Okay, cool. We're going to use my buddy Luke. He runs a sales team, which means he's a good prospect for me. Product or service being sold. We're not gonna use a specific pain point. Let me grab this real quick. We can use this here. Okay, let's go back to the screen and let's keep working on this. Okay. SalesThread is an AI-powered deal management platform that turns every single sales into skill execution, coaching, and better pipeline decisions. It syncs your CRM and call recordings and layers AI agents on top. Scoring calls, core ideas, compounding sales memory, inside your sales intelligence. Yeah, I mean, this is just okay, but it's fine. I think for our test, it's fine. Actually, let's fix it a little bit. Can we restructure this to first talk about? It starts by creating a company level memory based on how you sell and what works and what doesn't work, and then into the rest. And I'd like to simplify some of the language, make it 7th grade reading level. Sometimes I read outputs from AI and it just breaks me. Like my brain is like, oh, okay. Builds company level memory on how your team sells, what works, what doesn't, and what moves deals forward. It starts by syncing your CRM and call recordings and uses AI to score calls, plan follow-ups, and coach reps based on pattern of their own deal. Over time, the memory compounds, new reps learn faster, managers spot problems earlier. And when someone leaves, the knowledge stays. Your sales intelligence becomes a company asset, not something that disappear or turnover. So much better. Can we add one sentence about how this serves as a foundation for AI agents to do the work with your reps? I still want to have that sense of the AI deal management team in here. Okay, so when we have this done right, which we probably will right now, okay, cool. So we're in good shape. So here is our prompt. And I think this is good. So we have the full prompt here, our cold email writing prompt. I think the next step is I'm going to read, we need to create the eval, right? So I'm going to go back to just me for a second. And let's do, for this, I'm just going to use Gemini here because I kind of like Gemini. And I'm going to copy this and I'm going to get Perplexity Computer ready. Okay, so Perplexity Computer, what I'm going to say is, all right, now I'm going to give you some outputs of cold emails from this prompt. And what I'd like you to do is read my feedback on the cold email output and work in or use it to understand what I like about an email, what I don't like about an email, ask follow-up questions if you need to. And ultimately, I want you to create a scoring rubric that I could use to score cold email outputs and determine how good they are based on my own preferences. Let's do a 1 to 4 point scale. And this should be based on a 1 to 4 point scale. I'll give you 4 emails, one at a time. Period. Okay. So while that's working, let's go back here. All right. Your remote sales manager hire. So look, great. So this is exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to jump between Perplexity Computer. And I'm just going to give my feedback. So I'm going to do, give me a second here. All right, you guys see what I'm doing here. Okay, so here's the output, and now I'm just going to talk to text what I don't like about this email. Okay. I really don't like the subject line here. It says your remote sales manager hire, and that's obviously external email. Did not follow that instruction at all. You would not write that as a subject line. You'd write the remote sales manager. Or why would you even say remote? Actually, you would just be like the sales manager hire, or you would just do sales manager hire, or just sales manager. I'd probably just say new sales manager, probably what my subject line would be. But I just don't like it because it doesn't feel internal to me at all. And it uses language that is a little too like on the nose of what they're saying. I don't know. It's just not how people talk. Right? You wouldn't say, "Oh, can we talk about that remote sales manager hire you're having?" Like that just sounds silly. Right? You wouldn't distinguish that it's a remote position. Okay, so that's the first thing I didn't like. Let's look at the rest of this email and give its feedback. When scaling a distributed sales org, the hardest part is usually ramping new reps without managers having to teach the exact same lessons over and over. When scaling a distributed sales org, the hardest part is usually ramping new reps without managers having to teach the exact same lessons over and over. Okay, sales. Saw that you were hiring a sales manager to focus on coaching and driving outbound for your remote team at WeTravel. When scaling a distributed sales org, the hardest part is usually ramping new reps without managers having to teach the exact same lessons over and over. SalesThread builds a company level memory of what actually wins deals at WeTravel by analyzing your past calls and CRM data. We provide AI agents that coach reps in real time based on your own winning patterns. Your new reps ramp faster and your managers can focus on strategy instead of repeating the basics. Okay. Let's see. I think that's a big paragraph here. I don't like that. So I'm going to say, what don't I like? I just feel, when scaling a distributed or sales org, I mean, overall, it's a fine cold email. So I'm not going to like hit it too hard here, but I just don't love it. I don't really know what I don't love about this email. It's fine. I think it's a decent one. Part of me is tuned in on this. When scaling a distributed sales org, the hardest part is usually ramping new hires without manager having to teach the exact same lessons over and over. That second part is fine, but like when scaling a distributed sales org, it just feels a little formal to me. Also, there's a big paragraph in this, and I just don't think that's a good practice. Like, I think it should be sales thread builds a company level memory of what actually wins deals at WeTravel. By analyzing your past calls and CRM data, we provide AI agents that coach your reps in real time based on your own winning patterns. And then it should probably be a line break there. So that way it's just not as thick of a sentence. Overall, I think this is okay, but I can't really articulate why I don't like it. So maybe some of our other emails, if they're better, will reveal that to us. All right. And that's a tough thing, right? Like, I don't know, maybe if anyone watching this has an idea, but I don't know why I don't love this email. I just kind of don't. So, oh, I put that in the email. Okay. I'm also going to copy this so I don't have to rewrite it again. So that's that was the first email. We're going to run the same one. So we did Gemini first. Gemini said, email body, subject line, output. Okay, let's do the next email. So we're going to use the exact same prompt. Oh, geez. I'm going to use the exact same prompt, except this time we're going to use Grok. And I'm going to do the highest thinking for all of these. And actually for this, I'm just going to rip them and just do a bunch. So there's Grok here. Let's do T3 chat. I could do a bunch of different models, or I'm just going to do 2 more, right? So let's use Claude here. Where's Anthropic? Sonic 4.6. I need search on for this, right? Search not disabled. Okay. And I want to use Gemini, ChatGPT. Yeah. Boom. Okay. And we're using Pro, which is probably way overkill for all this, but let's just use their best models and pin them against each other. What do you say? Okay. So now we're going to go and look at each one of these. So we have, it's also fun to see what they choose is important and different here. Okay, and then for those of you just joining, we are testing a bunch of different LLMs and how well they write cold emails. That's what we're doing. And this is the one from Grok. And currently what we're going to do, it's funny it made up a name for this one. What we're going to do is we're going to give the outputs to, what the heck is that? We're going to give the outputs to AI and then with our feedback in order to create a nice little test and an eval to evaluate a bunch of different cold emails. All right. So let's read this one here. WeTravel Series C. Okay. So again, I really don't like the subject line here. I feel like it just sounds like a sales email. WeTravel Series C sales scaling. It's like, geez. Like I would probably just say scaling sales or sales team growth or growing sales, something like that. So Lucas saw WeTravels. Oops. I don't want to talk to text that. So now I'm giving feedback on what I like and don't like about the email. And what we'll do is when we have enough feedback, we will create an eval prompt. So then every output we'll run an eval with, and then we'll like do probably 10 cold emails per LLM. And we'll do a little study and figure out who writes the best out of the box with like a pretty bare bones prompt. Okay. So let's just see this. Saw WeTravels. Please With the team scaling fast and AI becoming core to the operation system, the real challenge is keeping sales consistent and reps productive as you push new features to the market. Without a living record of what actually moves deals, knowledge walks out the door every time someone changes roles. Um, I do not really think that the first sentence is good at all. Like calling out the $92 million Series C fund, it's like so generic. It's like, oh yeah, I just have an automatic trigger every time someone raises capital, we send them this email. So it just doesn't feel right. And then the next paragraph here with the team scaling fast and AI becoming a core to the operating system, the real challenge is keeping sales consistent and reps productive as you push new features to the market. Like this is just a challenge always. This has nothing to do with their Series C. So like the Series C doesn't even feel like it's the right choice here of what to do to reach out to. Like the previous email, I thought they made a better decision because it was talking more about the hiring. This like completely misses the mark. SalesForce fixes that by seeking. Yeah, I think its explanation of sales thread is medium at best. I do like at the end where it says worth 50 minutes to see how it could work for your America/APAC team. I think that was good. I don't know if that's the right place for that, but I think it was good. All right, let's send this over. Again, we're going to do 4 of these. And after we do 4, we'll have a sense of, oh, Kyle, this is what you like. This is what you don't like in cold emails. And then with that, we'll have our eval, and then we'll actually run like a real experiment, which would be super fun. Okay. So funny, the final. Okay. And let's go here. Oh my gosh. ChatGPT is still I used Pro to be fair, but geez, ChatGPT is still thinking about this email. It's crazy. It's been a while. Okay, scaling the WeTravel sales team. Again, these freaking, again, this subject line I think is super salesy and lame. And this is like M-City. One of the things I really don't like in AI writing is M-dashes and also comparisons. Like it's not X, it's Y. I don't see that here yet, but I see the M-dashes a lot. It's kind of like AI smell. Tripling valuation, opening new offices mean you're likely building out the sales team faster than ever right now. It's actually not bad. The challenge with that kind of ramp is that what made your early reps successful, the patterns, the winning talk tracks, the deal instincts you've built since 2018, doesn't transfer automatically to new hire. It lives in calls and CRM notes scattered and inaccessible. Sales thread syncs to your CRM. Oh, this is not working for some reason, which is annoying. Sales thread syncs with your CRM and call recordings to build memory on how your team actually sells, then uses it to coach new reps, score deals, and follow-ups. All right, let me try this again. Oh, this thing's crashing. Super whisper. Come back to me. All right, cool. Okay, cool. One thing I don't like about this email is there's a ton of M-dashes in it. And I think like that AI smell stuff I'm really sensitive to because I use AI a lot to write. The M-dashes are just a classic one. Like this is a terrible email because of all of the M-dashes primarily. I actually like the opening here. Like WeTravel's 92 million round of caught my attention. I don't know if I love that line, but the tripling valuation opening new offices means you're likely building out the sales team faster than ever right now. Like, I actually think that's a pretty good line. The challenge with that kind of ramp is that what made your early reps successful, the patterns, the winning talk tracks, the deal instincts you've built since 2018, doesn't transfer automatically to new hires. It lives in calls, CRM notes, scattered and inaccessible. I think this is fine. If anything, we could have brought like sales playbooks, that get outdated quickly. It could have been a little bit better. What it does, this reads in a weird way, like to almost like I don't actually know what's going on. Like it doesn't transfer to new hires because it lives in calls and CRM notes, scattered and inaccessible. But the line before that was the patterns, the winning talk tracks, the deal instincts you've built since 2018. I've built it since 2018. How come it doesn't transfer? Like, don't I have playbooks? Don't I do training when I onboard folks? Like, this is a company that's been around for a while. They have a large sales org. Like, it kind of misses the mark a little bit, but I don't know how to say why. It's like it just feels like it's written by someone who doesn't actually understand sales organizations, which AI doesn't, which is probably why it smells that way. But I don't know how to articulate that as a criteria. So yeah, I think the sales rate overview is fine. I don't know why it doesn't say AI agents, because that's like a big part of what we do. Okay, worth the 15-minute. Okay, this is fine ultimately. Okay, so this is number 3. We're going to do one more here. And then with this final one, we will have email body. Oh, whoops. Let's see if ChatGPT, oh my gosh, it's still thinking. How long has it been thinking for? We might have to skip ChatGPT. Why is this taking so long? I shouldn't have done Pro. I didn't realize I was giving ChatGPT such a complex task. Let me see if I can use. I shouldn't have done Pro. That was my mistake. I deserve to be punished. Okay, and then I want reasoning effort. Let's do. Gosh, it's still thinking. I would love to just look at the thinking. I'm running another one here. I'll start sharing my screen again. Okay. We can look at. I think the strongest signal is a job. Oh, it's still trying to figure out the signal. Oh my gosh. The email sounds good now, clear and concise. Gosh, ChatGPT is really thinking this through, putting a lot of effort. ChatGPT is putting more effort into writing this email than I did creating the experiment. All right, let's see what happens here. Trying to see if this is going to be. I don't know why this is also big, the text. Okay. For the recent post from 2024 might be the best one. What are you talking about? I swear, like sometimes when I use ChatGPT, I just feel like I'm talking to somebody who's super smart, but also just like a total dummy. Like it just overthinks everything. Tone matches. Gosh, this is nuts how long it's taking. All right, let's see if we've learned anything so far. This is a big one. The email should not read like I wrote it. The email talks about knowledge not transferred to new hire. break up dense paragraphs. Don't list features, but do mention AI agents as a differentiator. I actually want to be clear. I want this eval to be more about cold emails versus specific about who we're targeting in this. So, for example, your listing tally of preferences says don't list features, but do mention AI agents as a differentiator. The AI agents part is probably too specific to me, but the don't list features is. I want you to reconsider everything that you've gathered from these examples so far before I give you the first one, and make sure you're thinking through this as principles of writing a good cold email, not specific to the cold email that I'm writing right now and what I sell and who I'm selling to. Okay, so that's actually an important detail. And this happens quite a bit when you're doing prompting and stuff. Like it wants, well, it's actually good that it does this. Like it wants to take your preferences into account considering what you do. But I like to, I think this just broke. I like to get really broad and make sure that the eval will be flexible regardless of somebody's email. Which is ultimately what we want here. We want a nice, flexible eval, don't we? Yes, we do. I think we're just about done here. Okay. It's finalizing answer. Who knows how long that'll take? Okay, let's just make sure you're right. I was considering your cold email preference. Oh, I like this. Demonstrate a real understanding of the prospect's world. That's good. The insight bridge must be airtight. The signal has to connect to the challenge in a way that makes sense. Yeah. Conversational tone, not break up dense paragraphs. Don't list features. No AI writing tells. Signal selection matters more than signal existence. A generic signal funny around with no connection to the challenge is worse than a specific one. Yeah. Subject line must sound internal. Yeah, that's like my primary rule with subject lines. We're still finalizing the answer here. Gosh, I shouldn't have used Pro. And honestly, like Pro isn't great. Like I should have just shown the thinking one because I think ChatGPT Pro is just in such a different category than a lot of these other reasoning models. Well, obviously, this is going to now be like a 10-minute thing to write a cold email, which nobody would want it to take this long, obviously. I promise it's almost done. I can't promise that. I don't know how long ChatGPT is going to take to write this thing, but right now it's taking a very, very, very long time, which is heartbreaking for all of us. Finalizing the answer. Gosh. Which Grok did we use for this? We used Expert. Okay, we did use Expert. So Grok's pretty cool, just to go on a tangent here, because it uses multiple agents. Like look at this Grok leader. And you can see agent number 2, strong signal, found strong signal. This is agent 3 with we travel the X. This is number 3 again. I chose this as a final version. Look, see, they're all giving suggestions. It ended up not working well. But I do find it really cool that there's multiple agents that work together. It's like Grok is so, when I'm researching stuff, actually most of my like day-to-day usage of AI is with Grok. Also, side note, what is this? 216 sources to write this email? It's crazy. So most of my like day-to-day searching is using Grok. So if I have a question, you know, I used to Google stuff. If I have a question and I'm going to use AI to answer that question, I use Grok and I just ask Grok, hey, this is my question. The reason why I do that is because Grok does research really well, and it having access to X and Reddit and stuff, but X especially, means that when I ask a question where very current information is useful in the answer, it'll give me the best answer way better than any other LLM. For the other questions, any LLM would be able to answer it, but because I sometimes ask questions where recency matters, I just send everything to Grok because it can answer normal questions too, and then also the ones that require stuff very recent, it also answers. So I do both. Gosh, I cannot believe how long this is taking. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a protein shake. Okay, protein acquired. How are we doing here? We're still finalizing the answer. All right, well, while we're doing that, we should start setting up the experiment. So I'm going to see, can I just do this all in? I want to run an experiment and have you generate cold emails following a very specific prompt with Opus 4.6 and then the equivalent for Grok, ChatGPT, and Gemini. So kind of their equivalent high-end reasoning models. Are you able to, in a separate environment without a bunch of context, clogging the context window, run a prompt 10 times in 10 different environments to get outputs for each of the different models? So I'm just asking Perplexity Computer if it can do that, because Perplexity Computer can like spin up individual environments and agents and just run prompts like this. Okay. We're still finalizing our answer. Crazy. Oh, interesting. So it can do all of them except Grok. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do this for the three of them. And I'm going to do Grok manually. Before I paste the prompt, I would also like you to create a spreadsheet at the end that has the model that was used and the full text of the cold email formatted correctly. So if there's line breaks, I want the line breaks to show up there in the spreadsheet. And this should be a Google sheet. And then I'll add the Grok ones myself at the end. We might never get to do this because, I mean, should I just refresh the page? Maybe it broke. No, it's still finalized answers. Hopeful that it broke. There should also be a few more columns. Well, actually, I'll just say that at the end one, actually. Actually, we can start running the experiment. That's what we're going to do. We're going to run the experiment with the prompt. I'm probably gonna wait for it to finish this. So if you want to see how this works, like this is pretty crazy. This is what I love about. I mean, Perplexity Computer is just so good. Look at this: setting up cold email comparison experiment. Run 10 isolated code experiment with Opus 4.6, 5.4, 3.1. Look at all this. Compile all 30 outputs to a Google Sheet with model name and formatted text or formatted email text. Look at this. It's running all 10 of them. How crazy is that? And it spins it up so we can do it in parallel. Like, look, this will take a few minutes to run 30 in parallel. So look, this is so insane. This is why Perplexity Computer is nuts. Now let me launch all 30 sub agents. I'll run them in batches, 10 per model, all isolated. Each sub agent gets only the prompt and instructions to save the output of the specific file. Freaking unbelievable. Absolutely crazy. It's just spinning up 30 so we can do it all at once. How insane is that? I really like Perplexity Computer. Gosh, this is taking so long. Are we even going to be able to do that? Is this one? This one's broken too. This didn't even work. I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on. We're literally going to finish all of the experiments here before we're done with our last example to write our eval. While it's doing this, let's get our eval ready. Oh, I guess we kind of can't because we need the last email. Ugh. Honestly, I think I'm just going to give up on this. I am. Let's write the eval now because prompt number 4 is taking ChatGPT a super long time. And then we will update the eval afterwards. Before you create the eval, let's start by just creating a rubric for how we're going to be scoring this. Remember, I want it to be a 1 to 4 scale. Okay. Oh, it just finished. That's so funny. Literally right as I sent this. Let's look. ChatGPT just finished. Chicago sales team build out. Oh, interesting. I actually would just call this Chicago sales team. Okay, this is interesting. I have some feedback on this one. We're going to look at this eval in a second. I'm going back to something to know about me is I hate typing. Output and output. And then we'll do feedback. Whatever, I'll just type it. All right. I think the subject line's okay here, but I think it should just be called Chicago Sales Team. I like how specific this signal is. That the sales manager role says managers spend 80% of their time coaching reps. That's great. I think that is usually where team knowledge start living in scattered reviews is confusing. I don't know what that means. If I'm reading this, I don't know anything about sales, right? And I saw that, I'd be like, what do you mean? That is usually where team knowledge in the sales manager doing the coaching, scattered reviews, like aren't they delivering coaching that isn't scattered? Like it's a very confusing sentence to me. I think the sales thread is okay. It's kind of on par with all of the other ones. I don't know what I don't like about it. Just maybe the description of sales thread doesn't feel like it's really talking about a big value prop or like a useful value prop. It's a kind of a weak value prop is what I feel like. Okay. Let's send that. We'll re-look at our outputs here, which is going to be cool. Okay, here's the rubric. So Insight Bridge, category 3. Okay, let's just see. Oh, it's just updating. Can you output the entire rubric? I would like you to do research on best practices for writing eval prompts that evaluate LLM outputs. Consolidate that research into a guide on how to create eval prompts, save that as a skill, and then write the eval prompt for this task. Okay, while it's doing that job, I'm going to read this. Okay. So subject line sounds like an internal email is a 4, reasonably natural but slightly off, maybe a word too specific, a little too polished, or mildly reveals it's external. Okay. Focused on one clear outcome tied to the challenge makes the prospect feel the impact. Tone and readability. Yeah, and this is huge. Noticeably formal and corporate. Soft, low commitment, easy to say yes to. One clear ask. Okay, perfect. All right, so I think we have a decent rubric here. I'm going to go to our other task. All right, this other task is still running. It's adding a bunch of rows to the sheet. And then, oh, it just finished the sheet. Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm going to open this sheet here. Oh, how cool is this? It's freaking awesome. One, two, three. Okay, check this out. You'll love this. Here are all of our outputs. How cool is this? Boom, 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 boom. Look at all that. Super cool. Now we need this from Grok. Whoops, I don't know what I just did. But okay. We need this from Grok. So we're going to take the same exact prompt here. We're going to just run it through Grok a bunch of times. Give me a second. I'm going to go back to me here. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're doing 10. And so here's part of my thinking, just so you know, is I want to do the exact same prompt with the exact same person, because we're going to average out of 10 outputs, we're going to average what the average score was across all of them. I think that's only fair. And then looking at this here, I'm probably going to let this get cut off. And then I want to add our rubric. So we got that done. Let's go back to our rubric here. I don't know why it still thinks the task is running. Okay. So now we have the eval prompt. So right here is the eval prompt. Okay, I think this is all fine. Here's where you put examples you like, I would not like. What does it do? I think we should handle when the AI is on the fence. So I think there needs to be something in this prompt that makes it lean towards being more strict about its scoring. Also, I noticed this is using my prompt writing prompt, but I'm thinking we should probably have a cold email eval prompt that's written based on best practices for writing eval prompts, not my right prompt writing prompt, if that makes sense. So can you make sure that we're actually following best practices here and not just trying to fit my own prompting prompt into this? All right. I think this needs a bit of a rewrite. I didn't love that. I liked some of it. It was fine, but okay. So here we go. So this is the first one. I'm just going to grab these and we're going to do Grok. Which Grok did we use? Expert. So 4.2. Grok 4.2. 1. Oh, put this subject line separately. Ooh, that sucks. Oh, you know what? What am I doing? I'm just going to give all these outputs to Perplexity Computer and ask it to do it. Okay. Now I'm going to give you all 10 outputs from Grok, and I'd like you to add it to the cold email model comparison sheet that you made. Okay, let's grab all these Grokky guys. Okay, so we're gonna copy this one, and we're gonna go. Let me go back to what we're doing here. We're doing this right, folks. Okay, so that was number 1. Oh, there's a ton here. 1. So wait. Uh-oh. Let's just do this from the beginning. Give me a second here. History. Okay, so right here. Boom. I don't know why that's in a whole different. Current. Okay, so boom, here we go. So I'm just going to copy and paste all these over. And then computer will handle everything else for me. 3. Here's 4. No, I press enter. How do I stop? 5. going to grab this one now. Then I'm going to grab this one. Grab this one. All right, I'm almost done grabbing all of our examples. I wonder if I'm able to add Grok to Perplexity Computer. I don't think I can, but I would like to. Okay, so now we have all 10. All right, perfect. Okay, so now it's updating our spreadsheet. While it's doing that, let's go to our eval prompt. Here's the reworked version. Okay. So it looks good. The only thing I don't like about this, I don't like that if you cannot confidently assess a dimension, flag is insufficient information rather than guessing. I don't want it to guess, but I don't anticipate any outputs having insufficient information. And I want these all to be scoreable. So can you either remove that or refine it? Okay. This is going to be great. It needs to be Grok 4.20. Okay, so here is where we're at. Not too far. Oh, so dumb. Okay. Your booking layer. Okay, cool. So now we have our spreadsheet set up. And now we're going to set up the main experiment. So I'm going to do it's actually going to be pretty fun. Prompt the spreadsheet here, share. Anyone with the link can edit. All right, I got the spreadsheet. So here's what we're going to do. I have a spreadsheet that has a bunch of outputs from different models using the exact same prompt to write a cold email. I also have an eval prompt that I'm wanting you to use to evaluate each output and score it. What I'd like you to do is first update the spreadsheet so that there's a column for each of the things being scored by the eval prompt. And then in a separate environment, so there's no context window clogging, I would like you to run each email output through the eval prompt, take the scores, mark the scores in the spreadsheet for each of the outputs for each model. So there's 10 outputs for each model. So total with 4 models, you'll be doing this 40 times in 40 different environments, adding those scores every single time. All right, it's happening. We are running the experiment. So here we go. We are I don't know why it's loading skills. That's interesting. But what it's going to do here is it's going to start updating the sheet, and it's running the experiment for me, which is really nice. This is great. I think we can close all of this other stuff. And let's see how this goes. The next thing I'm going to do once it's done with this big task, I'll actually prep this prompt. Now I'd like you to create another tab in this spreadsheet that is a summary tab that shows the average of each criteria that's being scored, as well as their total for each different LLM. And I want you to highlight in green each of the different criteria being scored, which LLM scored highest in that criteria, and then select the LLM that performed the best across all criteria. I would also like you to add another section to that overview tab that shows how statistically significant the output is, and then do another assessment of which LLM does the best job writing emails considering statistical significance. All right, so it's running all of this. It's fine. Let's see. Can we see it? Look, see how it does all of this subject line score. So what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So we have 6 things that we're scoring on. So check this out. It's scoring all of these. I'm probably ripping through tokens doing this, by the way. This was a big choice I made. Definitely a big choice. It's gonna be like, you hit your limits, or I'm just gonna get a crazy bill. How are we doing on time? Yeah, I gotta kind of wind down here. How long have I been live? Oh, an hour. Jeez. I really got into things, huh? Where are we at? So check this out. This is, again, like Perplexity Computer, so impressive to me because it just spawns these agents. So here's Opus 1 to 5, 1 to 10. It's doing all of this simultaneously. And it chose to use Claude Sonnet 4.6 for all of this, which I think is fine. Maybe I should have requested a higher model, but I think Claude Sonnet, as long as you're using the same model, should be good. Look, check this out. It's starting to get all of the data. I love it. Kind of peaking here. I think the total is 24, right? So far, it looks like they all kind of suck at it. All right. I think I'm going to wind down. This is going to take a bit of time, and I got to start prepping for my other. All right. It's now just combining all of them into the spreadsheet, which is good. So let's at least look at this, and then I'm going to wind down. I need to prep for a couple calls that I have coming up. I'm in back-to-back sales calls for the next 2 hours, or maybe it's even 3. How many hours am I in meetings for? 1, 2, yeah, 3. I'm in sales calls for the next 3 hours, back-to-back, which is good. That wasn't a complaint. That's actually a very good thing. I'm very happy about that. You know what I think is going to happen? I think there's going to be companies that build this type of agentic orchestration that you can just plug into your own applications. I think about what we're building at SalesThread, kind of a sales version of this. I think eventually either Perplexity or another company like it is going to go, all right, here's just a plug and play orchestration framework that you can use in any application, and they'll just make money on the, like, maybe they'll have you run your API keys through it. Maybe not, though. I don't know. But I think something like that's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to charge for it, though. I guess it's kind of exists in an open source way with OpenClaw, because you can use OpenClaw and adapt it for your own uses. Before we do this one, I'm actually going to say, can you double check that you logged the right numbers into the right cells? All right, I'm going to take this. We're going to run this one first just to do like a double check. All right, I'm going to head out. This is taking a while, and I don't think anyone's loving watching this. So we'll talk soon. Bye.